It's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's check in on actor and simpleton Mark Ruffalo, who is dazed and confused. He's not coping in Trump's America.
I don't understand what's happening right now. My industry doesn't understand what's happening right now. But what they do understand is our freedom of speech is being attacked.
Another absolute hypocrite who suddenly cares about free speech. They were cheering on their ideological opponents being silenced, being cancelled and deplatformed. Give me a break. Now, let's go to Lefty Losing It regular Rosie O'Donnell, who, despite fleeing to Ireland to escape Trump's America, does nothing but talk and think and obsess about Donald Trump. Even her therapist is wondering why she's so obsessed.
What he's done yet hasn't even hit us yet. Right. And if he's not stopped now, we have lost our country. And I don't know, Nicole, how it is that some people cannot see it. My therapist said, "Why are you so upset?" And I said to her, "Why are you not?"
Yeah. Yeah, I have that conversation too, because the gaslighting that I think you're alluding to, if you're a thoughtful, informed person, you do stop and say, well, maybe it is me.
Yes, even her therapist thinks she needs to find some perspective, but not MSNBC anchor Nicole Wallace, who is matching Rosie in the loopy stakes. The only gaslighting happening there, Nicole, is you convincing yourself that you're thoughtful and informed. But at least when Nicole and Rosie are sharing their paranoid delusions, they're not producing content like this, whatever this is. You know, the left suffer from the delusion that if they repeat a lie often enough and they really, really want it to be true, then it is. We've heard them repeat the same dangerous lies about Donald Trump for years, from the Russian collusion hoax to the Fine People hoax. Now there is another lie being put forward by failed Vice President and failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris. She keeps saying this despite it being verifiably false.
And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century.
The closest presidential election in the 21st century? An out-and-out lie, Kamala. She lost by a huge margin. She not only lost the Electoral College by a huge margin, she lost every swing state. She also lost the popular vote. Trump was the first Republican to win the popular vote in 20 years. But did Rachel Maddow correct that obvious lie? Well, of course not. And Kamala was off to The View to repeat that same lie.
It is the closest presidential race in the 21st century in terms of the outcome.
Wow. Yeah.
The closest. Yeah.
Yes, the idiot View crowd are going to clap along like trained seals to anything, but there were 6 highly paid View co-hosts on the desk with Kamala. Not one of them corrected that outrageous lie. And emboldened by her bold-faced lies being accepted as gospel, Kamala repeated that line at her old college. Here she is at Howard University.
Closest election for President of the United States in the 21st century.
Wow, I know that's real. And a Howard grad did that here.
And a Howard grad did.
Why is it that Kamala looks like she arrived straight from happy hour to that event? No academics there, no students corrected that lie. So let's get a hot take on Kamala from her successor, JD Vance.
Because the more people know about Kamala Harris, the more they realize there's no substance there. I mean, agree or disagree with Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, they actually had substance. They could actually articulate a viewpoint. I listened to Kamala Harris for 90 seconds, and I actually feel like I've gotten dumber in the process, and I have no idea what she actually believes.
Now to the deplorable Ilhan Omar, who was doubling down on her abuse against Charlie Kirk. Last week, she had plenty to say, including this on CNN.
That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
Asked to apologise for those comments and other similarly unhinged and ugly commentary, this is what the anti-American Democrat Congresswoman had to say. This time, she's with the awful Don Lemon.
I have nothing to apologize for. It is a tragedy that Charlie Kirk was killed in that way. I feel for his widow and his children. They will have to live with that for the rest of their lives. But there is no legacy to honor. It was a legacy filled with bigotry, hatred, and white supremacy. And as a Black woman and as a Muslim in this country, I refuse. These crazy people can do whatever they want to do, but I am not going to be bullied into complacency, into dishonoring who I am and what I stand for.
Yes, she's not going to be bullied into decency or honesty. She's going to remain a race-baiting radical doing harm to the country that gave her sanctuary. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, Ilhan Omar is going to find out the hard way that Charlie Kirk's legacy is far greater, far more consequential than anything she or her squad members are going to be achieving.
I think she already knows that, Rita, on some level, but she is unashamed, unabashed, telling us exactly who she is in some strange upside down way. You almost have to admire it because she's just tripling down, quadrupling down in that belief. I think, cynically, in the narrow world of just her retaining her seat, as long as she continues to do that and the demographics where she lives are favorable to that, and once you become an incumbent, it does get harder and harder to be unseated, though it certainly is happening more and more. Unless and until that happens, I would say that she doesn't care, and she's going to continue to be true to her belief system with no shame whatsoever. The only good news I would offer is that, broadly speaking, she and her kind, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel, whether it's everyone else, they are losing right now. They're losing electorally, they're losing in the court, they're losing culturally, and that is something, but they haven't lost. And while they're losing, but they haven't lost, this is actually a dangerous time, and you're going to see much more, I think, vicious vitriol and even violence coming out, unfortunately, and that's why the right really has to fight harder against people like her.